Jacob's cooking piadina. Piadina is a flatbread from Emilia Romagna in central Italy on the east coast. One of Italy's ultimate fast foods, the Italian answer to a pitta pocket. If you grew up in Romagna, your lunchbox will have had a piadina in it when you went to school. And when you were growing up, you'll have had them for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, as a teenager, on a beach, for a quick bite. When you're a bit older, before you're going out, getting ready, doing your hair, you'll have had one quickly on the way out of the house. And then again at 3 o'clock in the morning when you left the clubs. There's tons of clubs on the coastline there on Rimini and Riccione. After a really hard night partying, you'll have had another one to set yourself straight. It's a really simple dough which you can make in not a lot of time. You need to rest it a bit, but it's a really quick dough to make. We'll make it now with nothing more than flour and fat and water and salt and a bit of bicarb. The fat is traditionally lard, and to my mind it's actually better with lard. More people these days make it with olive oil. It's vegetarian and you have olive oil around the house. So we're going to make this dough and then we're going to fill it with a bunch of different fillings. I'm going to show you a few. You can fill it with anything that you like. Traditionally it'll be filled with this, which is a really soft cheese called stracchino, and you can see it. But I have here a whole array of soft cheeses which we're going to try different fillings. Well, I'm going to try them. You just have to watch me eat them. Some cured meats. I've got some beautiful nduja here, spicy salami from Calabria, speck. I have to say a big thank you to Italiano, who provided all the ingredients we're using today. This is one of my restaurant suppliers who is facing tough times due to COVID and has branched out. They're now available on Deliveroo. Thank you, Italiano. Let's start with the dough. I have a bowl. I've got half a kilo of flour. I've got some bicarb. I'm going to put a teaspoon in, normal bicarbonate of soda. 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. That's about 10 grams, or you can use just a big pinch. Doesn't really matter. I've not bothered sifting the flour. I'm going to give that a very approximate stir, and then in goes my olive oil. That's 80 millilitres of olive oil, or 80 grams of lard. And really, if you do have lard at home, which is unlikely in this day and age, if you do have lard at home, to my mind, it's even better. Give that a quick mix in, not even incorporated really, just roughly mixed. Can you see? Roughly mixed. And then I have 220 millilitres of water. I'm just going to dump it in. And again, I give it a quick mix. I'm just using a fork here to save my hands from getting filthy. Just to make a really rough dough. Once it's vaguely incorporated, I can start using my hands. I'll make a bit of space here to knead it. I'm going to knead it first of all in the bowl. And the texture, this is stiffer than I'd make a bread dough. But it's still pliable, so you're looking for something softer than a pasta dough and firmer than a bread dough, I would say. So I have here a really rough dough. I'm going to knead that a little bit more. I'm going to turn it out onto my work surface. This dough is so dry that it doesn't even need to be floured, the work surface. It's not very sticky. And the oil or the lard shortens the dough enough. That dough is kneaded enough. It's all together. I'm going to cover it and let it rest. The easiest way to cover it is with the already dirty bowl upturned. And now we're going to wait for 30 minutes. You could wait longer, but 30 minutes is enough. By magic, boom! 30 minutes has passed-ish, maybe it was 20, who's counting? You should be. The dough is now soft and pliable. The reason you let it rest is flour doesn't actually have gluten in it. It has 2 components of gluten, and when you knead them, they make this protein. And this protein is like a massive elastic band. And as you knead the bread, the elastic bands get stretched and tangled up together, and it becomes tighter and tighter and tighter through all this internal tension. And when you let it rest, the elastic bands gradually relax and unentangle, and the dough gets soft and workable again. So we have let it rest once, and it's now soft. I'm going to cut it into 6 equal-ish portions. And each ball I'm just going to knead quickly and form into a round ball. Okay, like that, round ball. So my 6th round ball, As you can see, it's gone springy again. It wouldn't be so easy to roll out in this state, so I'm going to let it rest for another 30 minutes or so. Covered. Boom! Another half an hour's passed, miraculously, and my balls of dough are well rested and tender. I'm now going to roll them pretty thin. I'll show you one now. I'm going to put a bit of flour out, not a lot, just a very light sprinkling, just to be sure. And I take a ball and I'm going to roll it to as close to a perfect circle as I can manage, which is not that perfect a circle because I'm not that good. But I do know that the trick to making a circle is that you roll thinner at the edge of the dough than you do in the centre, and that leaves always a little mound in the middle to roll out and to stretch the rim into a circle. And I'm going to roll this as big as it will go, which is a disc about 2 millimeters thick and pretty much as big as the base of my widest pan, like about that big, kind of. How big's that? 25 centimeters, maybe? And I'm done. I'm ready to cook my piadine. I've got a well-seasoned pan. You could use a large non-stick over, I'd say, a medium heat, and it's pre-warmed, just beginning to smoke. The piadine will take about 2 minutes to cook on each side. So I'm just going to drop it in the pan, flat if I can. If it gets scrunched up, you can untangle it. Let the magic happen. I can't resist touching it. Piadina can be filled with raw fillings, even though the bread is cooked, obviously, or they can be filled with a filling which is cooked normally to melt the cheese. So this one I'm going to give a cooked filling to, and I've got some mozzarella which I'm going to cut onto the top. This is lovely buffalo mozzarella, and a few fillets of anchovy. And these anchovies I've soaked for maybe half an hour in water. That's not technically necessary, but it kind of plumps them and removes just a touch of their saltiness. They're still pretty salty. And for this one, a good amount of pepper. Now I'm going to fold it in half and just turn the heat down and let it cook on one side and then the other side, and it should be enough to melt the cheese. In the meantime, I'm going to do my cold-filled piadine. I'm going to do one with burrata, which I have here. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And some sun-dried tomatoes and some rocket. And that will get just a little drizzle of oil. I'm going to do one with nduja, which is this super spicy salami. And nduja is weird because you can spread it. It's not like other salamis. So I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. This is really spicy. It's up to you how much you use. And this one I'm going to do with some ricotta. Again, this is buffalo ricotta. Buffalo and sheep make definitely superior ricotta. Buffalo ricotta tends to be richer, whereas sheep's milk ricotta tends to be more aromatic. Cow's milk ricotta is fine. And again, some rocket and a little drizzle of oil. And it's cold. I'll fold that, and that's ready to eat. And I'm going to do one with stracchino cheese. Stracchino cheese is this super gooey, spreadable cheese from Emilia Romagna. They tend to use this or squacquerone in their piadine in particular. And some speck. Speck is smoked prosciutto. You could use a plain one, normal prosciutto, whatever you prefer. And that's good to go. And this one is good to go. Super simple, as you can see, and super delicious. There we have it, piadina, a really delicious, really simple snack food, aka this flatbread sandwich. There you have it. That's my lunch. Piadina romagnola. This one is with speck and stracchino. Buon appetito!